Or maybe out of nowhere, just in the same way that Russell Westbrook wasn't supposed to end up in Houston, or Paul George wasn't supposed to end up in Indiana, and so on and so forth, or Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. There could be a surprise team that ends up making the best offer.
The Damian Lillard stories are starting to heat up, especially as we hurtle towards training camps. You know, the story comes out from Shams, the idea that he'll show up at 2 training camps, either Portland or Miami. And so while his agent might have gotten fined and they said, hey, stop on all this crap, like, that's all they have to do is leak it out there. Like, hey, I know we got fined and everything for saying that he didn't want to play anywhere else and that you're going to be trading for a disgruntled player, so don't do that.
Can you say it for us?
But,
Can you say it for us? Is probably what they're saying. Like, we can't say it, but
right.
Can you report it?
Yeah. So you just call the reporter and you say, hey, we're not going to show up anywhere except for these 2 places.
So, like, did you see the Mark Spears thing today? Like, it was a big nothing report, really. But he said he heard there's a secret Eastern Conference team that's having talks with Portland for Damian Lillard. Like, he didn't give a name.
It's a secret, Kevin. He can't give a name.
It's a secret, so he can't say it. But who would you expect it to be? If there is actually a secret team that can't be shared, who would you think it is? I have some ideas. The Nets would be number one because
for
Dame,
sure,
previously they were on his list. He's got the Mikal Bridges relationship. They have assets. They have pieces. They're a team that I could see saying, hey, you know what? Let's cash those in and get a great player in Dame.
Well, and he might actually go there.
Yes, exactly.
And that guy, much like Philly, is a star hunter, as we know. Marks is.
100% true, yes.
Yep.
I could see the other New York team, the Knicks, even though it's a bad fit with Brunson, it's a big-name player. It's a team kind of in the middle trying to take a leap. You could talk Tibbs into trying to make it work with Brunson and Dame. I would not do it. I'm just saying that, like, they just make some sense. They have assets. I could see the Bulls doing it. They're a team stuck in the middle. They could get a bit desperate there. I could see the Magic doing it. I think it's too early. I would not go for Dame yet, but I think they're going to be a playoff team this year. They could be trying to take the leap this year. The Sixers, obviously, that goes without saying. The Raptors, there's been like little sprinkles of rumors around them as a Dame team over this whole saga this offseason. They need to choose a direction.
You want me to give you one that would stun you?
Who?
That you have not mentioned?
Who's that?
How about Milwaukee?
They don't have the pieces. They're not getting
trying to appease the Giannis thing.
They don't have enough. They're not going to get it.
They're
not eligible. They don't have enough.
You can look, when you don't have enough, you can always throw in another team.
They don't have enough. They can't. They just don't have enough. They can't trade really any picks until next summer when they could trade 3.
In the end, again, you rope in a third team.
They don't have enough.
That's exactly how he's going to end up in Miami. That's what I believe. He'll end up in Miami once they get a third team roped in.
Maybe.
That's what'll end up happening.
Or maybe out of nowhere, just in the same way that Russell Westbrook wasn't supposed to end up in Houston, or Paul George wasn't supposed to end up in Indiana, and so on and so forth, or Kawhi Leonard in Toronto. There could be a surprise team that ends up making the best offer.
Well, look, Kawhi never talks. So
I know.
We never knew anything about it. He just wanted out of San Antonio, right?
Well, he also wanted LA, just like Russell Westbrook wanted Miami, just like Paul George wanted LA.
But he also wasn't in more often than not, these guys have gotten what they want.
Yes, they do. I'm just saying, but not always. It's not 100%.
I mean, Russ did get to go to LA, and I do think that Portland, will try to get the best value and also do right by Damian Lillard.
Yeah, but
even if this has gotten messy.
But do right by Dame is at the bottom of the list of things that are important in here. The do right by yourself, do right by Scoot Henderson, do right by Shaedon Sharpe, do right most of all for your fans. That's what matters most here for the Blazers, in my opinion. So if the Miami offer ends up being the best offer and it's at a point that you feel like you're ready to pull the trigger on the best deal, then you take it. But at this point, I still think there are other teams that could theoretically offer more than Miami if they were willing to. And I do wonder if that's why we're starting to get some of this stuff leaking out, from Shams saying he won't report anywhere else, Mark Spears saying there's a mystery team. Could there be more happening right now and that's kind of pushing things forward towards a deal with Miami or with somebody else?
Think he'll be gone by the time we got 2 weeks till media days. I bet he's gone by then, don't you?
I don't know.
I just don't think you want this to drag into it. You want to start anew. Future's bright. Scoot Henderson's the guy. But we don't. I just don't want to go to training camp and having this hanging out there.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
I wouldn't either. I would not want that either, Chris.
That's why it's gotten hot and heavy, and we're starting to see the reports and the talks.
I think that's fair. There was, just to jump ahead to the mailbag real quick, there was a question from Justin relevant to this conversation. He said, any chance the Pacers are the mystery team for Dame? And I had not thought about Indiana because they have Halliburton, they have Mathurin, but it just did make me think outside the box. Is there a team like Indiana that already has a guard? Unlike the Knicks, Halliburton's big. He's 6'5". He has length. Maybe a team like that could be like, you know what, screw it. Let's just add a talented player who can play with and without the ball next to Halliburton. Those guys could be dynamic together. I could talk myself into it. I just wouldn't do it. But I could talk myself into it.
No. I want to turn that team over to Halliburton and be on his timeline.
I think it's too soon. It would be premature for the Pacers to go for it now. And plus, even if you did get Dame, just say for Mathurin and Buddy Hield as a salary and whatever first round draft picks, you're still kind of small in the backcourt. If you're relying on Dame, Halliburton, Bruce Brown, that's not a lot of size. And then you get Nembhard off the bench. You're small. I just wouldn't do it if I were Indiana. But it's fun to think about some of those teams like the Knicks that shouldn't, but could.